Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. I welcome you all to today's session of the daily quiz. Also reminding you, there is a great chance for all of you to get free one-on-one counseling session with our experts that will help resolve all your issues that you are facing in your UPSC CSE preparation journey. For that, all that you need to do is look at the link of the Google form given in the description of the video, fill up that form, and our experts will get in touch with you as soon as possible. With that, let's begin with today's quiz. The first question is on your screen. Consider the following statements with regards to BRICS. Number one, in 2001, the British economist Jim O'Neill coined the term BRIC to describe the four emerging economies of Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Second, Argentina is all set to join BRICS in 2024. Third, the chairmanship of the forum is rotated annually amongst the members in accordance with the acronym BRICS. How many of these statements are correct? Now, the reason why we're asking this question is, as you know, in the last BRICS summit, there was the news about the expansion of the group, with a lot of countries saying that yes, they would be interested in joining it. Now, South Africa has announced that they have received confirmation from multiple countries that are willing to join the group now. This is why this question has been asked. The first statement is correct. The word BRIC was coined by not these countries but by a British economist to identify those countries which will run the global economy in the coming years. Second is actually wrong. Argentina was offered whether they want to join it or not, but their new president has said that no, I do not want to join the group. So second is wrong. Third is correct. South Africa is the current head of the BRICS and the chairmanship of the group rotates manually one by one. And that is why the answer here is B. Any two are correct. The Indian Express is carrying this news where 5 countries have confirmed their joining. These 5 are Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. This is also a very interesting development in the sense that you do not often see Iran and Saudi Arabia part of the same group. That also tells you about the growing clout of China, whose presence in the BRICS has made sure that these two, I won't say enemies, but these two countries that don't really see eye to eye with each other have become a part of the same group. Next, question number 2. Consider the following statements. Number 1. India has a permanent research station called Himadri in Ny-Ålesund in Norwegian archipelago of Svalbard in the Arctic region since 2008. Second, India is only the 4th country in the world after Germany, Italy, and Norway to have a year-round scientific presence in the Arctic region. Third, India holds the position of observer in the Arctic Council. How many of these are correct? Now, India has always been focused a lot on Arctic and the Antarctic Circle, both the North and the South Pole. With respect to the Arctic, this is absolutely true. All these 3 are correct. As you know, India recently launched its Arctic policy as well, under which the government of India focused on how to undertake greater research and contribute more funds to the Arctic. In that respect, it is important to understand we are only the 4th country in the world to have an year-round presence in the form of research station called Himadri. And right now we are amongst the 16 odd countries that are observer in the Arctic Council. This is an article in today's Indian Express newspaper. That is, the scientists from Raman Research Institute in Bangalore have come back from the Arctic after spending multiple days there and now would be conducting research on the data that they have collected from the Arctic. Next, question number 3. Consider the following statements with respect to the 16th Finance Commission. Finance Commission, as you know, is a constitutional body that is formed by the president usually once in 5 years, suggests to the central government about the devolution of funds that is collected in the form of taxes between the center and the state. First statement, 16th Finance Commission was constituted on 31st December 2023 with Shri Arvind Panagria, former CEO of the Niti Aayog, as its chairman. Second, 16th Finance Commission may review the current financing structure related to disaster management initiatives. And third, recommendation of the 15th, that is the last Finance Commission, are valid up to financial year 2024-25. How many of these are correct? Now look at these statements carefully. The government did announce formation of the 16th Finance Commission. First statement is wrong. It will be led by Shri Arvind Panagria, but he was a former vice chairman of the Niti Aayog. He was not the former CEO. He was a vice chairman. Second statement is correct. In the terms of references given to the Finance Commission by the government, this is one of those. They will look into the financing related to disaster management initiatives. Third is wrong. 15th Finance Commission, it's a recommendation, will actually last up to 2025-26. So in other words, basically 31st of March 2026. This is when this financial year comes to an end, and till then 15th Finance Commission recommendation would be valid. Thus the answer here is A, since only one of these is correct, that is the second statement. This is an article in the Indian Express newspaper again about how 3 full-time and 1 part-time members have been appointed in the Finance Commission. Former Finance and Expenditure Secretary Mr. Ajay Narayan Jha, who was also member of the 15th Finance Commission, has been appointed as a full-time member, and there are details of others as well here. As you can see, 15th Finance Commission, the last one, and the 14th Finance Commission were also important in bringing about a drastic change and increase in the amount of money that the central government now devolves to the state government. Next, question number 4. Consider the following statements with regards to the union budget. Number 1. Fiscal deficit is essentially the amount of borrowing that the government is forced to have when it can't meet all the expenses with its income. Second, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act of 2003 stated that fiscal deficit of the government should not exceed 3.5% of the GDP. Third, comparing the revised estimates with the budget estimate for the same financial year gives a good understanding of how far the government has come on its promise well before the start of the financial year. How many of these are correct? Now, as you know, the budget speech is being given out as I'm recording this. With respect to that, the first statement is true. This is what the fiscal deficit is. Fiscal deficit means if the government, let's say, has an expenditure of 100 rupees, but they're only earning 60 rupees, obviously they will have to make up this gap somehow. That's called fiscal deficit. Second is wrong. FRBM Act says that the government should restrict its fiscal deficit to 3% of the GDP and not 3.5%. Third is also true. Budget estimate is the estimate that the government gives that we expect that throughout the year we will be able to do this, we will be able to spend this much money, earn this much money. Revised estimate is when they tell in reality how much were they able to collect or how much were they able to spend. So it's a good way to see what the government promised and what they were able to achieve. That's what revised estimate tells us. First and third are correct. The answer thus is B. Second statement here would be wrong. There is a great article in the Indian Express newspaper which tells a lot of these details that you need to know about the budget. I would advise you highly to read it, to read about the important terms in the budget and how are they utilized. Next is the previous year question from 2013. Acid rain is caused by the pollution of environment by CO2 and nitrogen, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, ozone and carbon dioxide, or nitrous oxide and sulfur dioxide. Which of these causes the concept of acid rain? The answer here is D. It's an easy question. It's nitrous oxide and the sulfur dioxide, which are one of the most harmful components in the environment, and when they mix up in the form of rain, that becomes extremely problematic and can cause a lot of issues in your body. Next, the fact of the day, and today's important news is the action taken by the RBI against Paytm. Now, Paytm is one of those brands that all of you are aware of. It has been under the radar of the RBI for a long time. In the past, RBI has even imposed fines on Paytm. Now they have taken an even strict action. RBI has announced that the Paytm Payment Bank will not be able to offer any of its core services now, including accounts, wallets, etc. They have not clearly defined why this action has been taken, but they have just said that Paytm Bank has not been following and adhering the norms that the RBI has given. As per the Paytm Payment Bank, they have about 10 crore million customers with their accounts verified. They are also the largest issuer of the FASTag in the country. Now, what does the RBI order say? RBI order says that all the people who have any balance with Paytm wallet, etc., will be allowed to use it. There will not be any restriction on that. But Paytm cannot carry out other banking services like fund transfer, like UPI facility, etc. It should not be provided by the bank after 29th of Feb 2024. Again, RBI has repeatedly said that customers should not feel any inconvenience. They should not face it. They should be allowed to carry on whatever money that they have. They should be allowed to ensure that they're able to use that money. Also, Paytm is likely to appeal, but it doesn't really seem like Paytm has an option right now. because the RBI again in October also had slapped a fine of over 5 crore rupees on Paytm. They have just said that Paytm is not really adhering to our guidelines, and they are not sharing details about how much of the data of their customers are they sharing with the Chinese entities which have invested a lot of money in Paytm. As you know, and Fin, that's a Chinese company, has 9.89% stake in the company, but the relationship between Chinese investors and the Indian company is still not clear. That is why the RBI has taken this action. It remains to be seen whether Paytm will be able to come back from this or not. This brings us to the end of today's session of the daily quiz. I hope you liked it. Have a good day ahead. Bye bye. Jai Hind.